What is going on here? I have been possessed throughout my life at various intervals, though is not actually my entire life at all. It would still only be 1% by various individuals and groups with causes to represent in a strange and grotesque way economic, political, and magical interests of theirs. In a way, it is the classic Jesus story all over again, where they feed off me for everything and then decide to kill me even though I'm Jesus. But they were unable to kill me this time. These people are also all the women and girls like Hannah and Molly, all my age at the time or very close. All and all the other causes are me and them too. They literally take over my body and have entire conversations without me and get money, power, sex, glory, magic from it, and none of anything you think is me is actually me. No, all this magic has been orchestrated for these basic interests, basic material interests, as it turns out: money, power, or glory. No one was ever harmed by me, nor can even be harmed by me in any significant way, as I am a part of God. How am I overwhelmed? Because they got to me at birth. It is part of the Jesus story. It does change. There is going to be a major paradigm shift soon. These people will have to pay for what they get. If you're one of them, you'll have to pay for what you got. You got it from me, not some middlewoman or middleman. Not that I'm demanding it, but you'll appreciate having paid it back. All the various things that you got, or at least parts of it, in significant ways. Probably all of it in the long run, even if I don't receive it. These people have tried to roll all worldly and allegedly spiritual interests into the sacrifice of me in a downward spiral, basically a toilet bowl image of me that will to reflect all their interests, but it will end up being a reflector of them, a mirror of what you guys have to go through. But is and will collapse in on itself for all of its ways and means of using me and hurting their locus, me, and focus, me. Having misused Jesus Christ, even though and by the way, I never endeavored to have a website or to have a podium or a pedestal in any way whatsoever. It's an inherently self-defeating system that you guys are in, or they are in, or whoever y'all are. And also in trying to evade responsibility and have it all fall on an innocent party and Jesus, and a hole in the middle, a trash can, me and my life. It doesn't work. These people do not have your best interest at heart either. They are using you through this in a pyramid scheme, which again is not. They've created a lot of dramas, and you have fed off them, and probably don't care much either way by now. 45 years later, I'm now 45. Most people have been raised with this and don't know anything different. 7 billion people disappear. There's only a few 100,000, few million, or tens of millions left that are doing this. 7 billion are not doing this. Me and God, I can't die. They have tried to kill me many times, and the 7 billion are safe. So there's something that relates to between me and the 7 billion, not as you understand me or anything you understand about me. You don't know me at all, but as me as Messiah, and Messiah on very many levels: scientific, magical, spiritual, shamanic, not strictly religious. Even religious stories come from these real kinds of events being explained in short. So these people do not have your best interests at heart. This is pretty crucial. You guys think that you're getting all these things and it's going to be fine. If someone told you it's going to be fine, it's not. Just letting you know, you need to check what you're doing, check yourself, check the people you're with, figure out are the things that just look into yourself and look at what you're doing. Does it seem like raping someone and molesting someone for any reason, particularly if they turn out to be innocent and it turned out to be just usage? Even if you were taught this, even if this is all you know, is going to work out in the long run. How easy is your economy? How easy are your jobs? How easy are your businesses? Where does your money come from? These are things you want to look into, and also look at yourself and say, what am I doing? This communal bowl, this me, I'm your marijuana, that seems to be, or your crack or your heroin, that seems to me to be great for you and everyone, is actually a Ponzi scheme where you get burned at the end. I promise you. I've been trying to indicate on several occasions how hopefully these messages have been carried, because I'm kind of in a hole. I'm in a well. I'm in a wishing well of yours. I haven't been having long, drawn-out conversations with you or anything. Maybe at times you drew me in, but most of the time these conversations in my head or otherwise are not me. but you get burned at the end. I've tried to warn you on several occasions. I've tried to warn the people doing this to me. I've tried to make different efforts, not necessarily verbal, throughout the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, throughout my life in preparation for and in leading up to a lot of things that I've been trying to do for all of you, for everybody. A lot of times for myself is for you, and it depends. It's nothing like you would do for yourself, but things that I would do for myself. Sometimes similar, sometimes work, friends, love, whatever they are. Although I'm not endeavoring anything. I'm not trying to get vagina or get free anything. They totally misportrayed me entirely, spoken for me, thought for me, and lived entire parts of my life for me that I don't even remember until they remind me. By the way, they are using you, I promise you. Even those of you who think you're in the inner circles, you are being used. Your elders have lied to you for a very long time. What appears to be good for women, or what appears to be good for black people, or what appears to be good for Mexican people and other people is not actually good for you, I promise you. Things have to come from within, not without. And generally speaking, and I'm just telling you, you're part of a pyramid scheme that's going to collapse. You want to do something very differently, like pay back what you got. You want to do something very differently, like maybe meet up with me in person. We'll discuss things. I have all the time in the world right now. Come join me at the coffee shop and we'll discuss things. You can tell me what you did or what you didn't do. I'm not looking to press charges at this time necessarily, depending on what's going on. I'm a pretty amenable guy. I am a real Jesus figure. I actually kind of love you anyway, but sometimes you're so brutal I have to fight you. But even so, it's for your best interest. I'm a servant of humanity. Beneath this grotesque melee that you think is me, which is none of which is me, lies a shaman, a quantum physician, a scientist, a learned man in all fields, a poet, a painter, a very amenable guy. You've mutilated me in tons of ways. I've mutilated my image in tons of ways. It's not so much that I care how I look like, it's that it's having a huge impact on my ability to facilitate helping you and help the world and be a direct impact of helping humanity. I'm a servant of humanity. That's what I am. Sometimes it manifests in my own life, but those are just some of the building blocks. I've actually done quite well for myself in life. I've had it quite hard. I didn't start out with money or have it easy ever. The entire money family karma tape is a lie entirely. You can assume that I'm basically the opposite of what you have known me as. I've worked very hard, been very successful. It's all been stolen from me. You can't actually go a day without using things I've invented and created. Things Google, you're on your computer, the aerodynamics of your car, your cars that you drive, almost everything you use, you're using stuff that I've invented. Not to mention the spirituality, any of the good parts of it has something to do with stuff that I know also. A lot of it's been introduced to you by people called Toltec. It's actually very similar to what I do in my shamanism. But these individuals have enslaved me in a variety of boxes. Some of them are in my head, some of them are in my life, some of them are in all of your minds at the same time, and thus I am trapped in one huge box that I really can't escape without wedging my way in. Nothing rapistic or theftistic, generally speaking. Rapistic for sure. Nothing karmically endangering at all for sure. But the worst box of all is this box of that everybody is feeding off of me and has an economy off of me and gets off, and then people get off them, people get off of them, people get off of them. I'm telling you, it's a toilet bowl. Any conversations you think are me are likely not. In no way am I and also in no way am I arrogant, insecure, a rapist or thief, karmically or really. And I've been tortured and enslaved by my family, by famous people, by synagogues, by churches, by friends and acquaintances, by other groups, because they're all what's left over the people who are not the 7 billion. So they're not actually synagogues and churches. I mean, in a way, they may try and be. I think they're probably better than most. By friends and acquaintances, and I never really was close to very many people. I'm not a needy person. I'm not trying to achieve anything. I have, as far as you would know, I have no psychology, no agenda whatsoever. Not hiding it from you, but I literally wouldn't have it. By other groups, Scientology, I think it was at the top of the pyramid. I think they're trying to hedge their bets, by the way, and probably are indicating to you some things that you should do also. Some of them. And it's largely been geared around women's power, and women have a lot of power, and maybe always have, I would say. And when women want you to do something, you generally do it, and they make it worth your while. So it's kind of hard to get out of, and you don't want to be freezed out. But if there's any way that some women and some men can get together in pods and try and kind of ameliorate what's going on, if you know what I'm talking about already, it's a good idea. So I've been kind of possessed and put in boxes and tons of intricate psychic and psychological and medical and judicial sometimes, and mostly public opinion and in a wind turbine in my head between me and people that I can't even see. Every once in a while I refer to out of habit, but not generally have a huge relationship with at all. And everybody feeds off these themes. There's a few themes involved I've been let know. And everybody's feeding off of these themes somehow and getting some kind of reciprocal of it, but you're going to get the exact shit and toilet bowl that you see. It may be spewed out over a longer period of time because no one can go through this amount of pain that I've been through in one lifetime. It's impossible. It'll maybe spread over that 5,500 years, 5,700 years, whatever it ends up being, if you don't pay it back. I'm of the understanding. I'm not and have never been a booger eater, an ass picker. These are all weird kind of magica negras, weird black magics, magica absentias. They tried to basically use me in a strange human sacrifice and witchcraft kind of stuff, and gotten a lot of stuff from it. You think, well, we got all this stuff. It's worked for 40 years. It's worked for 20 years. It's going to work. Someone's telling you this is going to work. This is the only way. It's going to backfire badly. It's going to backfire soon. I've been trying to let a few people know on occasion, every once in a while. I don't know what kind of tapes they have of me, but you can pretty much ignore them unless they're entirely different than what you're used to. Sometimes God is starting to intervene, and I'm starting to intervene in what they're doing, not necessarily to hurt them, but in implicit, inherent, necessary conflict with the people who are running this. And I think they're just trying to splice the hell out of me and squash the hell out of me. Or maybe they're shifting a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. I know that even like people in charge of the world are basically taking sides against Scientology and all of their pyramid schemes, and they weren't the greatest people in the world ever, but they've seen the world dead for 30, 40 years, so they are basically, they're kind of siding with me, quite honestly. I'm not necessarily siding with them or not siding with them. I try to side with everyone I know at the same time, but basically everyone. So everybody's trying to achieve money and power and sex, and they're framing it around sexual and gender freedoms and racial freedoms and things. These are all good things inherently, but I'm telling you, number one, the movement is ill-founded on human sacrifice and usage and consumption, and a bunch of gross fucking shit, which does represent the level of grossness of this, of what all your stuff is actually founded on somewhere down the pyramid, towards the bottom. And also, your causes have also perhaps been spewing a little bit here and there, and you may be aligning yourself with this thing, this big movement, but I gotta tell you, this movement petered out decades ago into comedy, into humor, into how the fuck are we gonna deal with this? We don't know what the fuck we're doing. Let's just let Brian bear it all. And I tried, but I couldn't. It's back on you. So you can assume that basically I've been fake this entire time. A lot of the stuff is now on you.